Good afternoon and welcome to our Career Connections monthly webinar. Today's topic is careers in education, and I am so pleased to welcome our partner, the Sarasota County School District. My name is Lori Gentile, Director of Client Services for the Women's Resource Center, and I'll be your host. You may have noticed that all the lines have been muted, but we still do want to hear from you. If you'd like to ask a question, please click on the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen and type in your questions, and then we'll answer as many as time permits. Before I introduce the presenters from the school district, I'm just going to take a few minutes to introduce you to the Women's Resource Center. The Women's Resource Center has been empowering women in Manatee and Sarasota counties since 1979. Our programs are offered at very low cost or no cost at all. And we offer mental health counseling, career services, educational scholarships and programs, legal and financial consultation and education, and wellness programs. And since March 23rd, I think it was, mostly all of our programs are offered remotely. We have three locations, three different sites. One is on Manatee Avenue West in Bradenton, South Tuttle Avenue in Sarasota, and on 41 South in Venice. And then we also have our unique boutique, which is an upscale resale boutique that's in downtown Bradenton. So I just want to spend a little time, since this is a career-focused webinar, on our career programs and services. We offer career coaching, and our career coaches can help you with everything in your job search, from career discovery, if you're interested in changing careers, or if you're just starting out, to developing a resume and developing your job search plan. And then when you're ready, they can help you prepare and practice for your interviews. We have a career center. Now those are located in our sites, which are closed at this point, but reopening soon. And in the career center, that's where our resume writing coaches are. We have computer tutoring and education, and there you'd be able to conduct a job search. We also have career closets in our Sarasota and Manatee offices, and those are gently used clothing available for if you are going on a job interview, or when you first start a new job, or of course, we service clients that need clothing for any reason. And then we have workshops, and like this one, the Career Connections program. In the Career Connections program, we bring in our partner organizations throughout the counties who have good paying job opportunities. And it also, we connect our clients with educational opportunities. And I just want to lastly point out, we created this coronavirus local resource page right at the start in mid-March. And we've been adding to it ever since. And it has great resources, some emergency resources, resources for parents, food banks listed. And then what I have circled here is our employment resources. There's a very robust section which has resources for employment, as well as a list of organizations that are currently hiring. And if you click on the link, it will bring you right to the employer's website. So you can review all the job opportunities and then even apply for jobs. So if you'd like more information about the Women's Resource Center, you can call us at 941-256-9721 or visit our website at mywrc.org. And then I just want to pause at this point just to, if anybody wasn't here for the beginning, that if you have a question, the lines are muted, but you can type it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And at this point, are there any questions for the Women's Resource Center? Okay, I don't see anything. So now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Alana Smith and Racia Johnson, who are Talent Acquisition Coordinators at the Sarasota County School District. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Lori. Good afternoon, everyone. As Lori said, my name is Racia Johnson, and I'm one of the Talent Acquisition Coordinators with Sarasota County Schools. I'm here today with my partner, Alana Smith, who is also a Talent Acquisition Coordinator for the district. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon as we present to you opportunities in education with Sarasota County Schools. Today, it is our plan to give you an overview of the district, discuss safety and security, our benefits, vacancies, our salaries and pay schedule, our application process, and also help you navigate our job postings. So let's go ahead and get started with a brief overview of the district. So in the state of Florida, our school districts are graded on student learning gains, student achievement, and graduation rates. We are proud to say that Sarasota County Schools has been an A-rated district since 2002. And we are only one of 2 Florida districts to be given that grade since grading began. It is our mission to dedicate to academic excellence and strive for our students to achieve the highest learning standards by engaging a high-quality staff, involved parents, and a supportive community. It is the vision of the school district to place learning at the center of its activities and to enable all learners to lead productive, responsible, and healthful lives. Now I'll talk a little bit about our schools. We currently have 54 schools in the district that are spread out between our north and our south counties. We have 24 elementary schools, 7 middle schools, 6 high schools, 1 combination school, 1 alternative school, 1 school for the gifted, and 14 charter schools. The district currently serves over 40,000 students with 5,000 employees. Now, Sarasota County Schools has several teams developing guidance and planning for students and staff to return to school. Please keep in mind that this planning process will evolve to reflect the guidelines that are provided by the Department of Education. At this time, the district has drafted several re-entry plans to enhance the safety measures for our schools. As time goes on and as information is received from the Department of Education, our committees will continue to update and revise the re-entry plan. You can find, load, and download the complete Sarasota County Schools re-entry plan, and it looks like this 20-page document from the district website, as well as the Florida Department reopening plan. But please remember that this is still an ongoing process. We value the safety and security of our students and staff. We have school resource officers on all of our campuses to ensure that everyone is safe. Here are just a few examples of the initiatives that have been implemented by the district. We have comprehensive safety plans for each school that are updated annually. Those plans include evacuation, shelter in place, as well as parent communication. We have ongoing employee training, as well as staff members who are designated to assist special needs students in an emergency or crisis. All employees and visitors are required to wear their identification badges at all times, and the appropriate identification is required of adults who are signing out students. We have reduced the number of school doors to be accessible from the outside, and our exit signs are clearly marked and visible. Our entrances are also clearly marked with signs directing visitors directly to the main office. Our crisis plans are updated regularly to reflect the current climate and level of risk. We have crisis management and intervention teams in all of our schools as well. There are many benefits to working with the school district, and I'd like to share some of those with you now. We offer one of the highest starting salaries for teachers in the state of Florida, along with an incredible benefits package, including employer-paid medical, dental, vision, life, disability, and retirement. We also offer employer contributions towards your retirement. And for many positions in the district, you will have your winter breaks off as well as spring and summer breaks. And we also follow most state and federal holidays for time off. If you are a teacher who is new to the district, you will go through our Sarasota County Induction Program, or as we like to refer to it, SKIP. The program lasts for 1 year and introduces new teachers to our district, to the culture of the school and the district as well, curriculum and technology resources, and you're also provided a mentor for your first year of teaching, which is usually a veteran teacher at your school who is there to help you navigate the process and help support you through the program. Now, another benefit of working with the school district are the opportunities for advancement, and I can definitely speak on my own experience with this. I started as a first grade teacher at Emma E. Booker Elementary School, where I taught for 15 years. I then moved to a position outside the classroom as a reading teacher, and then just recently I transitioned into my new role in the HR department with the recruitment and retention team as one of the talent acquisition coordinators. You also would like to know that many of our district leaders and instructional leaders also started out as teachers in the classroom. But the opportunities for advancement aren't just for teachers. We have many district employees who work in other cost centers like transportation, food and nutrition, who have been able to move their way up into those departments. Now I'd like to share some information with you about our Emerging Educator program for anyone who thinks they may be interested in pursuing a career as a teacher. Funded by the Barancic Foundation, the program was created to increase our teacher pool. We identify volunteers, parents, substitutes, teachers' aides, and community members that demonstrate characteristics of strong, successful future teachers and desire to pursue a teaching career. Members who are selected into the program receive support towards their goals, and that support could be professional development, networking, but also compensation for fees as you pursue your certification. In order to be considered for the program, you must have a completed application on file with Sarasota County Schools. If you have a bachelor's degree or higher, you would complete an instructional application. If you do not have a bachelor's degree or higher, you would just complete a non-instructional application. You also must complete a narrative on why you would like to be a teacher and have a recommendation from a Sarasota County Schools District administrator. 29 candidates were recently selected into the 2020 cohort, and we are currently accepting candidates for the 2021 cohort. If this is something that you think you may be interested in, please feel free to reach out to me, or you can find more information on our website. So I will now turn the presentation over to Alana, who will begin to discuss with you the different types of vacancies that we have in the school district.
Thanks, Rashia. Here at Sarasota County Schools, we have 4 types of vacancies. All of our jobs fall into one of these 4 categories, which are classified non-instructional, certified instructional, administrative, and substitute. I'd like to break down these categories and provide you with a little bit of information about each, starting with classified. Classified non-instructional encompasses a wide variety of positions that are hourly. I've listed the starting pay rate for the most common classified positions, which are bus driver, which starts at $14.22 an hour, bus driver aides, $12.40 an hour, clerical positions, which can start anywhere between $14.22 and $16.40 an hour, food service workers, $12.20 an hour, paraprofessionals, $15.21 an hour, and sub-custodians at $11.90 per hour. I've also shared here the classified salary schedule, and I'd like to tell you a little bit how to use it. So each classified non-instructional position has a school support personnel or SSP level assigned to it between levels 1 and 13. you will see an SSP level listed on both the job posting and the job description for a position. To find the starting pay associated with the SSP level, you will refer back to the top row of this salary schedule. For instance, on a bus driver posting, you will see SSP 5. So then you would refer back to the top row here that I have highlighted, and you would match that up with $14.22 per hour. Please note that your relevant work experience will factor into the pay rate that you receive, and any specific questions about this can be directed to our salary specialists. Next, I'll cover the certified instructional positions in the district. So primarily these would be teachers, but other examples can be school psychologists and social workers. And the starting salary for teachers in our district is $44,300 annually. Next up is administrative. Administrative positions include principals, assistant principals, department directors and managers, and then also various positions at the district level would also count as administrative positions. So the starting pay varies for these roles, and there are salary schedules specific to them that you can find on our website if you're interested. Lastly, we have substitute positions in the district. So these can be either instructional in nature and take place in the classroom, or they can be non-instructional and take place in a variety of departments. I have the substitute salary schedule pictured here. And as an example, I've highlighted the daily rate that a substitute would make in the classroom, which is $119.58. A bachelor's degree or higher is required in order to be an instructional substitute, and instructional substitutes with a master's degree would earn a higher daily rate. Something else to mention is that an instructional substitute who has subbed for 20 days in the same role would be considered a long-term sub and would receive an increased daily rate that would equal $137.26. So for instance, if you were a sub and you took over a science class for 20 days straight, you would be eligible for that increased daily rate. But if you had decided to sub in multiple schools for multiple teachers for 20 days in a row, that would not count. On the other hand, non-instructional sub roles do not require a bachelor's degree, and the pay is typically a flat rate regardless of education level. And an example of a non-instructional sub would be if a receptionist for a school went out on maternity leave and someone filled in for them. Many people enjoy being a substitute because they can work part-time or full-time and can choose their preferences for when and where they work. Moving on to our application process. This slide walks you through our application process starting from the district website, the homepage of the district website. So once you would be there, you would click on Find It Fast, followed by Search Jobs, and then Application Overview, where you would select the type of application you were looking to complete. Here, you would be able to review the materials required for the specific application you are completing. Finally, to begin your application, you would click Start Your Online Application. Each application has slightly different requirements, and I'd like to share those with you now. Classified non-instructional applications require a completed application with 2 references. One of those references must be from a past or present supervisor. Certified or instructional applications require a completed application with 2 references. However, both of those must be from supervisors, a formatted resume, and your official transcripts at the time of hire. Administrative applications require a completed application with 2 supervisor references, a formatted resume, and your official transcripts. So really the only difference between the certified and the administrative applications is that for an administrative application, we would need your transcripts up front at the time that you would apply for a position, whereas for certified, we would need your transcripts upon being hired. If you are looking to send your transcripts to us, your college or university can either mail or e-script the official copies of the transcripts to our Human Resources Department. To apply to be a substitute, please complete either the non-instructional or instructional application, depending on what type of sub you would like to be. Please know that you can contact Human Resources at any time for clarification about these application requirements or if you have questions at all. While you are completing your application, here are some helpful tips to remember. First, ensure that there are no gaps of time in between your past positions in the work experience section of your application. If you were unemployed or if you took time off to care for a sick family member, you will just need to create a separate entry with those dates and an explanation. Next, check the job description to make sure you are aware of any testing that might be required for a position. So for instance, when I started with the district, I started as an administrative assistant and I needed to pass a Microsoft Word test in order to be qualified for that position. Right now, due to COVID, we are currently allowing individuals 6 months from the time of hire to pass any testing requirements. The next tip is to make sure that the individuals that you ask to complete your supervisor reference forms are the same individuals that you have listed as your supervisors in the work experience section of your application. They must also specify that they are or were your supervisor on the reference form. Next is to please note that our application process has 2 steps. So first is to complete and submit the general, either classified, certified, or administrative application. And then the second step is to apply to the specific job posting that you're interested in, being sure to pay attention to the time and date the posting closes. Next, don't forget to call Human Resources to have your application reviewed once you've submitted it. In order to ensure that your application is complete and put into what we call recommend status, you will need to speak to somebody in HR. Lastly, our district does not do central hiring. So what that means is that our schools and our principals and the department heads are responsible for doing their own interviewing and hiring. So if you would like to follow up on a position that you've applied to, please make sure to reach out directly to the school or department that has the vacancy. You might be wondering what happens if you're hired. So once the school or the department makes Human Resources aware of your offer, you will receive new hire paperwork via email that you'll need to complete and return. As soon as your new hire paperwork is reviewed and approved, you will be notified to come into HR at the landings in Sarasota to be processed. When you arrive, you will need to show a photo ID, your social security card, and a proof of a physical in the last 12 months. You will also need to take a drug test, which you will do off-site, and you will need to be fingerprinted by our district's police department, which is on-site. The drug test costs $38.75 and fingerprinting costs $90. These would both be at your own expense. Once your background screenings have cleared or been approved, you will receive a start date for your new position. The next slide here shows what a job posting on our website looks like. On the left, you will see how our job postings are broken down into the categories I went over with you. This is with the exception of substitute vacancies, which are posted elsewhere. But as of this morning, these numbers are accurate. We have 1 administrative posting, which would be an investigator for Human Resources. Then for certified vacancies, we have 33. These would range from teaching positions at an elementary school, at the secondary level, or ESE teaching positions. Then for classified, we do have 20 vacancies at the moment. Some examples of those would be clerical positions, ESE paraprofessionals, and then of course we're always hiring for bus drivers, for sub-custodians, and for food service workers. You can pay little or no attention to the other category because we rarely have any vacancies there. But once you click on the job category, all of the positions in that specific category will be listed for you to choose from. As an example, I chose a recent secretary posting at Riverview High School. So on the right-hand side, you will see what that posting looks like on our website. You'll see the date the posting went up, the date it closes, the location of the posting. There's a link to the full job description. And then it tells you the hours per day, the number of hours per day that you would work, the length of your contract, and then some details about when the posting would close and how long you would have to complete your application, if it requires any testing, and then the SSP level and a link to the full salary schedule. So our postings are updated daily, so we definitely encourage you to peruse what we have available and see if there's anything that might be of interest to you. But we have come to the end of our presentation, and we look forward to answering some of your questions. But first, if you'd like to jot down my or Rashia's email and phone numbers, you're more than welcome to reach out to us after the webinar if you have questions that you think of later. We'd be more than happy to help you with anything that we can. So Lori, are there any questions?
We do have a few, but first I just wanted to remind people, if you do have a question, please type it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So the first question is, if we have completed an application last year, would we need to complete another one for 2020-2021 school year?
Yeah, so I can answer that one. So no, the answer is no. Our applications are good for 2 years from the date that they're submitted. So even if it's beyond that 2-year date, you can still log in and update that information and just call to have it reviewed once again. But within the last year, you should be just fine.
Good. Another one is, are you exempt from the Microsoft Word test if you have certifications in Microsoft Office?
That's a good question. I believe you would still be required to take the specific test, but that's something I could definitely follow up on. If you'd want to email me directly, I can provide you with that answer.
Great, thank you. If you're already fingerprinted, do you need to be fingerprinted again?
Is that with the school district you were previously fingerprinted? Do you know?
It doesn't say.
Because I know that typically we will have your fingerprints monitored for about 5 years. So typically if it's within that 5-year window, if you were fingerprinted previously with the school district, then you wouldn't need to be reprinted. But if it was with an outside organization or with the police department in general, then you would need to be re-fingerprinted.
Okay. And one more, I was going to register, wait 1 second, I just lost it. Oh, I was going to register with SCF for professional translator. Would this be appropriate for ESOL teacher without a BA?
I can answer that. That's a really good question. I can't really speak to the specifics of the certification, but if she could, or whoever that person is, could reach out to me with that specific question, I can get that information for them and then follow up that way.
Okay, great, thank you. Are there any medical job openings for an LPN?
Actually, we do have one. Let me look at, I have a vacancy list here. Just bear with me. Yes, so we do have one at one of our elementary schools, Emma E. Booker, and that position would be closing tomorrow at 5 p.m. So if you wanted to start or complete your application, you could definitely get that in before tomorrow. That would be considered a non-instructional or a classified position.
Great. How do you apply for emerging educators? What is the first step?
Yes, so I can answer that. So the first step would be to just start that district application. And like I mentioned earlier, if the person has a bachelor's or higher, they'd start an instructional application, but if they do not, they would start a non-instructional application. And then within whichever one they choose, they're going to select Emerging Educator, and it will prompt a screen for them to fill out a narrative. And that's where they'll answer the questions about what their interests are as far as being a teacher are concerned. That's where they would find that narrative application. And then once that's done, we would get some type of notice that they have completed that, and then we would put their name on an Emerging Educator interest list. So anyone who's interested now or who applies now would go on an interest list until we're ready to start selecting members for the new cohort. And they would also need a reference from a Sarasota County Schools District administrator who can kind of speak to their experience as being around children or working with children or teaching children.
Great, thank you. Do you have any suggestions for the length of a resume?
I would say, if from personal experience, if you have 10 years or less of experience, to try to keep it to 1 page. But you definitely could do 2 pages. I guess it really just depends on how much experience that you have, and if you have different types of experience in different industries, maybe how you're wanting to showcase those. If you're wanting to focus maybe just on finance, or just on your customer service, kind of breaking those into pieces, or just sharing all of your experience. I'm not sure if that really helps.
No, great, thank you. I have a bachelor's degree in economics from India and completed accounting operations from SCTC. What kinds of jobs can I apply for?
Did you say a background in in accounting, a bachelor's in accounting?
A bachelor's degree in economics and completed accounting operations from SCTC.
I can start to the question, but with a background in economics, if that individual was interested in teaching, they would go to the Florida Department, the DOE website. And then what they would need to do is they would find the certification test that matches the economics that they're interested in teaching, and then they would apply to take that test. And if they take and pass the test, then what the next step is for teachers is that they would then apply to the Department of Education to see if they will receive a statement of eligibility. And what that kind of tells them, if they require more testing or if they're good to go, then they can start interviewing for positions if they wanted to teach something with their economics background.
And then if they were wanting to go into something more accounting related, we do have a financial services department. And so as of today, we actually have 2 accountant positions. They're both non-degreed positions, but they could definitely be a stepping stone position until there was another regular accounting position available. So both of those, they would both be in the financial services department.
Great. How difficult is it to find a teaching job with just a DOE statement of eligibility?
I can answer that. I don't think it's difficult. I think it would depend on what their certification is in. So for example, we are always hiring for our critical shortage areas, which would be ESC, science and math at the secondary level, but in the same sense, we're always hiring for elementary school teachers as well, and our secondary teachers. So I don't think it's that difficult to find a position. It just depends on the amount of vacancies that we have at that time.
What if you don't have a reference from a district administrator?
For the Emerging Educator program?
That's what I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be fine, as long as it's someone that can speak to their experience as a potential teacher. As long as it's someone who could speak to their potential as a teacher, then that would be fine.
Okay. I think this is similar. All of my experience with children was years ago back in New York. I no longer have anyone's contact information. How would I go about getting a letter of recommendation from a Sarasota school, especially now that they are closed?
Well, okay, I can start to answer that. So basically, if that individual was already familiar with a certain school, maybe they have children that go there or family members that go there, maybe they're in our substitute system, and that would also count as well. If they have been around maybe someone in their community who can, you know, write a letter for them, that would also count as well.
Okay, great. And yeah, this one too. I've been a stay-at-home mom and a small business owner for the last several years, so I'm short on supervisory references. So that's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Can the guest speak to when you need to receive your certification from FDOE?
Well, I can start. So yeah, basically the way it works is that once you decide when you've made a decision on what you're interested in teaching, so let's use an example that you decide, I want to teach elementary age children. So you would go to the DOE website and you would sign up to take that certification test, elementary K through 6. And so when you take the test and you get your score, you would then apply to the Florida Department of Education, who again would issue that statement of eligibility. And if you do get your statement of eligibility, you're good to go. You can start interviewing for those positions. And then if you get hired, then you would be issued a temporary certificate. And you would have that temporary certificate for about 3 years. And within those 3 years, you'll be required to do your other testing. So your general knowledge testing and your professional certification testing.
Great. And one last one, I have an FBI level 2 background check for an MTC application. Is this appropriate, or do I still go for fingerprinting?
I would have to double check that one. I know in certain cases, a security clearance would waive the fingerprinting, but I would have to double check that. So that's another one. If you'd like to reach out to me directly, I'd be more than happy to double check that for you.
Okay. And one more came in. Do non-certified teachers get preference over certified if they have seniority?
They would have to be certified to teach in our district. So we would not have anyone who's not certified teaching in the district.
Okay. When would you recommend substitute teachers apply for the 2021 school year?
Now.
Yep.
I like that.
Right now.
ASAP.
This afternoon.
Yeah. As soon as this is over, apply now, please.
I love it. Okay, well, that's it. I just wanted to let everyone know that tomorrow morning you'll get an email with a replay of this webinar if you want to go back, as well as copies of the presentations. So I want to thank you so much for joining today, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Alana and Rashida.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.